what was I going to say? Oh, Sergey asked a question, and it sort of dovetailed with what you were saying. Uh, yes, Sergey has said, is it going to be a new game or a modification of the last? It's going to be I'm going to take a lot of components from the last game and then reuse them. But it's also going to be quite new in the sense that I'm going to recover some of these aspects of like how to build the player, how to build the enemy, because I want to change the organization, especially with the enemies. The way I did it previously would not suit well to this. There'd be too much extra coding. I want to be as tight as possible on the coding, and so I'm changing things up. So it's going to be more new game than old. I always reuse parts, like the sound system for this one, which I didn't even talk about. That'll be reused. The camera code, reused. The layer development code for the rendering layers, reused. So there's large swaths of this that are going to be familiar that we won't need to go over again.
Okay. Yeah, but for the most part, a new game. So, I wanted to mention that I loaded up the previous game that you did, top-down shooter. I loaded it up on a mobile device, and it actually looks really great. You can't move, and you can't shoot, right? Because we don't do tap events.
That's the little part where you die right away. It looks great.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, seriously, it does. And I did bring up I think I brought up a controller. I got a controller for Christmas, the Steel, whatever the Steel series controllers, and which is what is like an MFI controller or something. Anyway, and I was able to move around on the mobile device with the controller. So it's the elements are there, right? If you wanted to completely convert it into a mobile game, you could. Or if you wanted to, there were a few issues that I ran into with the controller piece, but I don't know if I was running the latest version of the source code. But anyway, it's enough there to play with. So,
would you like me to do like a mini episode on a future show where I could simply add some buttons to that for the mobile version, and then show people where the code is, and then this goes up, because you could easily add buttons into the structure as it is. Last time we talked about it, we had the keyboard mouse control scheme and the controller. We could add a third one, which is mobile.
Yeah. If you want to do that, I think that'd be great. I mean, it's like 99% there, right? It's just the touch inputs aren't there, and
yeah, no, it's definitely reverse. That's why I definitely want to, on this one, I thought about that. I thought, last time we didn't push this one back to mobile. This time around, this game, totally suitable for mobile, because you can easily create virtual joysticks for mobile. I mean, there's really not much to converting this game back, except for like reducing the number of particles perhaps and some optimization stuff, but get this thing working, controller working, change the input scheme, you're done. You got 2 games.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. And you talked in one of your slides was remapping inputs anyway, so
yeah.
So I think that'll be good. Jason. Thinking about Jason. Hey, Jason. Steven, you had some comments there on pooling and vectors and stuff. Did you want to add anything?
No, that would just be it would essentially be the same thing as the pooling, where if you were doing a lot of intermediate vector math and you were making tables, you would hit the garbage collector kind of hard. So it would be the same problem, just in a different form. But I don't know how it is doing it at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'm still working up that part. I don't normally use pooling in games. I'm not a big fan of pooling, because it requires an additional level of caution with regards to those objects, which I don't like to take. I like to just rely on the system to do the removal for me. So when I have to manage, it's like managing your memory within a thing that manages your memory, which manages your. It's like ad infinitum memory management. I'm like, just get out of here. I don't want to do that.
You don't normally have hundreds of particles flying around the screen.
Normally I don't have to deal with thousands of particles flying around the screen. Oh, I was going to show the game. Let me show the game. Sorry. I've already got this game coded up. it's not all finished, but I'm going to put it out there for folks so they can see it as it progresses. Let me switch screens here. All right, so this is the game. Let me make it a little bit bigger so we can all see it. What is this? Just drag that over here. So this is way beyond the size of my screen. But as you can see, here's my dude. Here's our basic board so far. There's only one enemy on the screen. And then I can fire in any direction, and I can move and fire as I'm going along. Now, I'm running into a little interesting issue. I've made a mistake in my controller code. So here I'm moving. Then I move my other... There. I move my firing. It's really hard to see. But I'm still pulling to the left with my left joystick, but I've lost my left input. Now, I've either got some kind of bleed over from my device, like the two joysticks are sending out signals that are cross-talking or something, or I've done something wrong. It's probably I've just done something wrong in my code. Let me show you a couple of cool things here while we're at it. I'm going to put more enemies on the screen. Where is it?
That reminds me of the Penguins of Madagascar, where he says, "We've lost Engine 1 and Engine 2 is no longer on fire."
That's always good. I'm gonna ramp this up to allowing 60 enemies on the screen at the same time. So they start to come in. They're coming after me. Now the counters that you see on the upper left is my particle management system. So I'm caching particles in this example, and the rightmost number is the total number of particles that I have created that may be cached or in use. The left number is the particles in use, and the middle number is the free particles. So, I'm sorry. The first number is the free particles, the second number is the in-use particles, and the third number is the total of those two numbers together. So the total particles that I ever need as I'm flying around is 149, which is pretty good. So I just need to keep 149 cached objects, and I can create this particle trail. But you'll see the problem here in a second is as soon as I start firing, now I'm starting to get significantly more I'm trying not to. Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah. Come on, get some. Yeah. So at some point here, I'm starting to encounter some kind of lag. It's really kind of hard to see in the... Here it is. See this lag? Oh, stop it. Okay. So I got up to 1,452 particles. Now, I've gotten it way higher than this, but that's about where I'm going to be today, it looks like. I've gotten it up into around 3,000, and that's when I really start to see some issues. And I haven't had the time yet to debug my code and see if it's something I'm doing or if this is purely a limitation. Now, the way these particles work is when you fire, you get an explosion, and it goes through this loop that pulls out previously calculated angles, gets some particles, puts them in the center of the explosion, and then transitions them out based on that angle calculation. So I know that probably didn't make a whole lot of sense, but imagine, if you will, you get an explosion, and then the explosion code goes around from degree 0 to 360 every 4 degrees or so and says, I want